question can be as broad or as narrow as you choose to cut it, really. Clearly, in terms of pregnancy in very early years, we've got all of those wider determinants of health which are need addressing almost at a systemic level, really, around poverty and deprivation, and those are real challenges, and they're not necessarily something that people can address in their everyday life, everyday work and everyday lives. So I think one of the most critical things in terms of children's outcomes is actually that early parent relationship, and how we can support new parents to feel valued, but also to feel that they can seek help, and we can help them with that transition to parenting and bonding and the attachment with their child, because we know that what happens in those first few weeks is critically important through the life course. There are some obviously bigger issues that we need to do, so reducing smoking in pregnancy, big modifiable risk around health of the baby, health of the mother, and continued exposure to tobacco smoke. We all know that. Breastfeeding is, again, very important. We've got really low rates in this country. Even the United States is doing better than us at the moment, and actually we do, you know, that's one of the few things where they can say that actually they're more successful than us, and they have much poorer rights in terms of maternity leave, but nevertheless more women out there are breastfeeding, and we seem to have lost that in this country, the belief in women that actually they can nurture and feed their babies. So I think that they would be my three things, that if I had to come down in just three areas where I think if we can make the biggest difference, it's supporting that attachment and that early parent bond, more babies being breastfed, and fewer parents smoking. Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I think there's some huge opportunities, and I think being able to sort of bring things together across a whole life course approach and seamlessly between from birth or pregnancy right the way through to 19, I think gives local authorities really real opportunities to be able to design what they're doing around the needs of their local populations. I think the challenges are really those bigger challenges at the moment that all local authorities are facing in the current financial climate, is around actually where to prioritise. Everybody has much less money to spend, and have to make really difficult decisions about what's important and where the money should be spent. And local authorities have particular difficulties because they support some of the most vulnerable and children in the community, and they need to keep on with supporting those families whilst at the same time trying to find some headroom to do some of the more upstream preventive and early intervention work. So I think it's a real challenge at a local level, the decisions that they have to make. We've already got some really good partnerships, particularly around early years providers of childcare and nursery settings, where these are private or voluntary organisations that work very closely both at local level and at national level in delivering policy and improving outcomes for children. I think we've got other good examples, particularly around areas such as oral health. Again, infant feeding, the voluntary sector provides a lot of the support services that are there for families. A lot of children's centres are already being provided through private or voluntary organisations. So I think there is a lot of good work already going on. I think coming together, bringing everybody together like this is a real opportunity to articulate those sort of consistent messages across the whole system. So I think it's a really good opportunity, not just in the presentations, but I think the networking and the conversations that go on in between the more formal presentations. It's a really valuable opportunity for people to share ideas, share their experiences, talk about some of the challenges and the problems that they're facing, and really just to step away from the day-to-day workplace and the day-to-day delivery and grind of being able to delivering a service or whatever it is that they do in order to improve children's outcomes, and to have an opportunity to chat to like-minded people.